private practice success. How are you guys doing tonight? Yes, I bet you thought that I had forgotten to do my vlog for today, but no, I haven't. I am here. I am just a bit late, just like I was last night. So last night, of course, I was being very un-Australian and I was doing my live stream whilst the State of Origin was on, but I've been told that I did not miss much because the Maroons lost, of course. So that was not a good outcome. Let me share this live stream in my groups. I'll just share it in two for tonight so that we can see if there might be some private practice owners out there that is still awake this time of night. And I see, Monique, that you are definitely one of them, still up this time of night. What are you up to? Are you chilling? Are you watching Netflix? Or are you working? Hopefully not. Let's share this one in here. Almost done. I'm starting. Cool bananas. Oh, low power mode. That means I can't talk too much. Hopefully it will last. So I see we've got 2 people on already. So if it is your first time live with me, let me know. Oh, Monique says watching Netflix. Awesome. Good. What's your favorite program, Monique? I find that I get stuck on something and then I binge watch it until I've watched it all. The last thing I watched was The 100, which I loved. I've watched House of Cards, of course, every episode. I've watched The Designated Survivor, every episode. And guess what? I'm a very late bloomer when it comes to watching Suits. I actually watched the first 2 episodes last night. I thought, maybe it's just another lawyer story and I don't know what the fuss is all about, so maybe I'll just check it out because there was nothing else really that interests me. So far so good, because I always liked The Good Wife, which I see is on there as well, but I'm currently in Suits and I see there's almost more than 100 episodes, so I've got lots of days to catch up on watching those. Absolutely love Netflix and it's so cheap, which is really excellent. Alrighty. So thank you, of course, for joining me whilst it's Netflix. Yes, it's been a bit of a topsy-turvy day for me in terms of what it is that I've done, and it's part of why I'm still doing my live vlog this time of the night. I ran 2 weekly Q&As earlier today. I went to PT and, don't tell anyone, I had a 90-minute nap this afternoon. Really? Yes, I did, which is why I'm still awake right now. Hi, Anna. Thanks for joining me. And of course, my husband's not here. He's in South Africa, which means that all the nighttime stuff is on me. And I finally put the last kid, or I should say teenager, to bed and said all electronics off, lights out, because tomorrow morning I've got a super early start. I'm so excited. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining. Very excited that I'm doing a radio interview tomorrow morning. Hey, Anna. Anna says, hey, everyone. It is a radio interview, but it's being broadcasted in America. Michelle says hi. Hello, Michelle. And I'm actually pretty happy with that because I've never done a radio interview before. It's going to go for a full hour. And if I'm going to make a fool of myself on radio, I would rather do it in the US before I do it here in Australia. Monique says, orange is the new black, is my favorite, hanging out for the next season. Yes, I've heard that, and that is the prison drama. I assume, yes, from what I've heard, so maybe I'll check that one out. Michelle says you will rock the interview. I hope so, Michelle. I have just printed out The information, you guys won't be able to see this because it's back to front. The information that the lady sent me, I've made a couple of notes and so forth, just so that I can have it here. But it's basically going to be a conversation, and she's going to ask me questions. I haven't seen the questions, so it's not like I could prepare for it anyway, and I think it will just flow much better just to have a chat. The show is called Coach on Fire, and they basically talk to business coaches, mentors, and entrepreneurs that work with other business owners, and the work that we do in affecting change in people's lives. Because obviously, if you support somebody to improve their business, you are working to support their lives. Because if you are a business owner, and you know, whether you're small or medium-sized business owner, but a family business owner, because that's really what we are. I think very often we think just because we're not a fish and chip shop, you know, on the corner, or a corner store, just because we're a professional business, that we don't have to be regarded a family business. We are, because everything that we do and stuff that happens, challenges and successes, affects not only me, but also my husband and my kids, and it's the same for each of you. What we do affects our whole family. So as a business coach, yes, I help people to run a profitable, successful, streamlined business, but really the ripple effect of that is more family harmony, people getting together, people being able to spend more quality time together, actually being able to afford holidays, all that stuff. And that's the great thing in terms of the work that I do as a business coach. And of course, the reason why I love it is that it's so similar to the work that we do as clinicians and as helping professionals, because you might have one person coming into session working with you, but the work that you do with just that one person, again, has a ripple effect across their lives in how they interact with their partner, with their spouse, with their kids, with their colleagues at work. And I think we are so blessed and honored to be able to do the work that we do, whether we are doing that as clinicians or in what I do these days in terms of supporting people like yourselves. Anna says, you have totally got this. Thank you, Anna. Love the belief. Pascal says, the dynamic duo agree. We're definitely a family business. I completely agree, 100%, Pascal. And, you know, being a dynamic duo means that the two of you, Michelle, is in this together, and, you know, you need to work together. It also means that when challenges come, you're going to face that together. And being on the same page makes that just an easier process. So, the title for today's live vlog, which is, by the way, live vlog number 69, believe it or not, tomorrow is the big 7-0, is that I mentioned on the title, I've got good news and I've got bad news. Okay, so let's start with the bad news. Okay, it's always best to start with the bad news, I believe. And the bad news is, hang on, Monique says, my hubby is technically my CTO. Hubby is technically my CTO. What does that stand for? Maybe it's too late at night. Maybe it's CEO. Should be CEO. He's maybe your chief executive officer. And then I would ask, what are you? If he's the CEO, let me know. Yes, it's always good to start with the bad news. The bad news is that when you want to step things up in your business, in your life, in your practice, when you want to go to that next level, or maybe you just want to change something that you do, whether it's a routine or behavior, the bad news is that the only thing or only person standing in your way, guess what? Is you. Okay? No one else. It's very easy for us to say, you know, it's because of my husband or my partner or my kids or, you know, my bank manager or my team, or coming up with these excuses and justifications for why we can't do stuff. Okay? Unfortunately, it's not other people. It comes back to us and the way that we choose to act, the way that we choose to respond, and the choices that we make on a daily basis. So the only person standing in your way of doing what needs to be done in your practice and in your life is you. And I know sometimes it might feel that we are very powerless or that we are dependent on other people. But if you problem solve it well and you get some support, you will find that it's ultimately up to you. Michelle says, totally agree. Great, Michelle, I like that. So that's the bad news. The good news, on the other hand, is that the only thing standing in your way of, again, changing things in your life, stepping it up, or doing what needs to be done is also you, okay? It's the bad news and it's the good news. The bad news is it's you and it's your responsibility, your accountability, and you need to take ownership for it. The good news is that you've got the power and control to do something about it. Even though everybody around you might be thinking differently, having different opinions, or other people around you might be scared. And I really want you to think of it in that way, in a very empowering way, that when you get resistance from the people in your life, whether it's people close to you, maybe on the fringe, or maybe even just business networks and acquaintances, that very often the input and the feedback they will be giving you is based on fear, because they're scared for you, they don't want things to go wrong, and they really want to protect you. But it's really up to you to step it up and show that conviction in your beliefs in terms of what you want to do, your conviction in terms of pursuing your vision and your goal. And that's the hardest thing to do, because when we do things differently and we get out of that box and, we actually stand up and we be counted and we put ourselves out there, then generally there are going to be other people that's going to be threatened by it, and they're going to comment, they're going to judge, they're going to be critical, or they may be just going to withdraw and not want anything to do with you. And it's really important to know that unfortunately that does happen, and it's generally not about you, it's about them. But you've got the control in terms of how you're going to react to that, and whether you're going to let that hold you back or encourage you to keep going. Hi Christine, thank you for joining. Michelle says, yes, have to invest in yourself, take a chance and step up. It is so true, Michelle. So true. And it's not easy, but it can be easy. If you feel that it's other people standing in your way, it's going to be harder. But if you go, listen here, I'm in control of me. I can only influence the people around me, and I can only have a little influence on the people further away. And then there's this whole realm of people and stuff that I can't influence at all. But the one thing I can control is me. So I'm not sure if you guys have ever read, what's that guy's name? Stephen something. He wrote the book The 7 Habits of Highly Effective or Highly Successful People. I haven't read it cover to cover, but he's got a very important concept which he calls circles of control. And I've read up on this specific technique because I've used it very successfully over the years with my clinical clients. I use it with my kids when they've got issues at school, and I use it in my own life. And basically it says that there's 3 circles of control. You've got the middle circle, which is the green zone. So that is me. So I can control what I eat, what I wear, how much exercise I do, who I hang out with, who I talk to, who I network with, who I hire, who I fire. It's the stuff I have control over, what time I go to bed, and therefore how tired I am the next morning. That's the green zone, and it's green. Stephen Covey, yes, Naomi, there you go. Hey, that rhymes. Thank you, Naomi, for helping me out. So that's the green zone, and it's green because it is meant to be easy, because you have control over you. And then you have the yellow zone. So the yellow zone is things you don't have full control over, but you can influence it. So you can talk to your husband, to your partner, and try and influence their view, and talk to friends and family and influence their views and their behaviors. But ultimately it's still up to them to take a step and decide what they need to do. And that's the yellow zone, because it's not that comfortable, because although you've got influence, you don't have full control. And then of course you have the red zone, which is the no control zone. And you know, a lot of our clinical clients, and I'm sure you'll agree, that comes into sessions, a lot of times they are trying to influence and control stuff that's in the red zone. And that's why it's so frustrating. That's why it's so depressing. That's why it's so overwhelming, because they're trying to control the stuff where really it's completely unreasonable and unrealistic to try and control that stuff, you know. Or and it's often people might come in and they complain about the government and all that stuff, and then I draw my circles on the board and I go, okay, where does this problem lie in our circles of control? It's definitely not in the green zone. Is it maybe in the yellow zone? You know, maybe you can speak to your local member of parliament, but when it comes to, you know, that federal stuff, they're in the red zone. There's not a lot that you can do, and you just need to let it go and come back and refocus on what I can do. And therefore, once again, coming back to the title of today's vlog, is the bad news is the only person standing in your way is you. But the good news is the only person standing in your way is you. So it really means that you have full control over what it is that you do, where it is that you're heading to, and what you're going to achieve at the end of the day. Hi Kim, thanks for joining me. It's good to see you on here. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that was a helpful message. You guys that have joined late might need to go and listen again right from the start. So does anybody have any questions or any comments on this? I'm happy to answer any questions whatsoever that you might have. Last night, actually, what I did is I ran an impromptu Q&A session. So if you haven't seen yesterday's vlog, by all means, go back to it, have a listen to it. I still need to go put in the blog number, but it was obviously vlog number 68. It was a really great 50 minutes, full 50 minutes of Q&A, and we discussed stuff like finding a new premises for your practice. We discussed communication with your receptionist. Hey Jessica, thanks for joining. We also, what else did we discuss? A number of things. Selema was about reception. Rachel spoke about expanding her practice. What else? There was a number of stuff. It went for a full 50 minutes of Q&A. Yes, Anna, you missed that one. What were you doing out in Western Australia? Were you also watching State of Origin? So we had a huge discussion, 50 minutes, and it was really, really awesome. Kim said, me too. Oh, ladies, you need to go and watch that. I was sitting right here. It's the one where my hair was actually out for a change. There was a bit of background noise with all the cheering and shouting for the State of Origin with the kids upstairs. But there was a lot of awesome content. Oh yes, the other thing was about what to do when you've got GPs that only want you to bulk bill, and when you say no, they want to stop referring, and how to manage that. That was a really great question that Frank posed. So we looked at a couple of strategies around that as well. Cool bananas. So what I might do is also get ready for bed. I might do what Monique is doing and watch. I commit to only watching one episode of Suits if I go upstairs now, nothing more than that, because I need to get up very early to drop the kids at before school care tomorrow morning, which I hate doing because it's so cold in the morning. But seeing that my husband's not home, I have to do it so I can come back, do my radio interview, and they said I will be getting a recording of it. So hopefully I can share that with you guys once that come out. Thank you so much for joining me. I really love it when you guys are here and talking to me and engaging. Michelle says, hope the radio interview goes well. I hope so too, Michelle. Normally the biggest thing with that type of stuff, of course, is the technology. And making sure that the technology goes well and the sound is okay and the internet and all that type of stuff. I think if that's all good, then it's a less stressful situation. Anna's doing a lot of Z's. I agree with that, Anna. That's what I'm going to be doing after one episode of Suits. So thank you so much again. I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow for day number 70 of the 90-day challenge. Hey, Valerie. thank you for joining. I was just about to sign off, so you'll have to re-listen to this one. Valerie, I think you might also have missed last night's Q&A that we did, which was a full 50 minutes. So be sure to go and listen to that vlog. You know, when I do those long ones, I go, how did that happen? When I get off the live vlog, I go, 50 minutes, how did that happen? It felt like 10 minutes. But you know, when you talk about something that you love, when you talk about something that you're passionate about, you can just talk the whole time. So I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna go upstairs, gonna go to bed, watch a episode of Suits, and then go to bed. And I will speak to you all again tomorrow. Remember, as always, all you need to do is say yes to your very own ultimate level 5 private practice, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.